girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
All right, good morning. Welcome back to another day. Friday. Morning, everyone. Margin, Anna, what's going on? Dino, Ponzi, Larry, Pat, DP, Kavi, CJ the Day Trader, Barefoot Sailing Adventures. Barefoot Sailing Adventures is getting free promotion for being in the chat. If you guys want a sailing adventure, it seems like that is something that we got going on there. Chef, good morning. Robert, Carlitos, morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back. Morning. Very nice day yesterday. A little bit choppy, but a beautiful end-of-day fade. We'll talk a little bit about that. That 548 rejection on the SPY was very nice. Little end-of-day fade. Why can't I see video? And he see it. I don't know. It's gone. Video's gone. Besides the market, if anyone's a car guy, pretty awesome that ZR1 that they released yesterday. If you guys saw that, that's pretty sweet. 1,064 horsepower on the new ZR1. Pretty awesome there. I've been looking at that all morning. Don't think I'd ever own a Corvette myself, but very cool. Very fast. F1 practice right now as well. Something my mind is elsewhere at the moment. Don't really think I'm going to be too aggressive today on the trades unless we really do get some kind of key breaks. Because right now, pretty much in between some key levels. The SPY is potentially reclaiming 543, which is very key. Something we'll talk about here as well. 543, 548. So really a pretty slow day yesterday besides some key level fades. That's really it. You had that key level fade on the NASDAQ off our 19,380, which was one of our key levels coming into the day. So that 19,380 was very nice. Yeah. Really about it. Corvette's grown on you over the years? Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I think I still like the last body style a little bit more. I think it's more aggressive, more. I know the new car's better, but in all regards, but I do like the look of the old one. Just seems more aggressive. I like the front engine, sort of long front, short back. I just sort of like that stance more. All right. So today, PCE price index. Last economic data of the week. Our PCE price index at 830. Consumer sentiment at 10. So we might have a few, things to be watching out here for on the intraday because of economic data. Let's just go ahead and start it up. Let's do it. Press that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. 722 people, 300 likes. That means less than half have pressed the like button. Press the like button if you could. Let's jump right in. So right here, 830. You guys can see PCE price index, personal income, personal spending. So we'll go ahead and see that data here this morning. Around 10 o'clock today, we do have consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So I think this actually could cause a little bit of volatility. So let's be careful here, right? Let's be careful here around that 10 o'clock. This might be something you want to wait for today. You might want to wait for 10 o'clock to trade today. So might be a nice chill first 30 minutes of the market. Let that first 30 minutes sort of, show us some information. Let it flow by. Let's see what it shows us. And then after 10 o'clock, I think is where I would get maybe a little bit more aggressive. Because consumer sentiment and inflation expectations, even though this does show orange and yellow as it's not important, these are definitely things that I have seen affect the market. Now, possibly it's because it's just the revised, right? They're just revising it, so the actual numbers are already out. So that's possibly why it might not cause much of a reaction, but I'm definitely going to be a little bit cautious here around 10 o'clock. I'm not going to have any kind of any kind of aggressive 0 DTE trades at 10 o'clock, right? A 0 DTE large size trade could definitely get greatly affected at 10 o'clock today. I would be very careful of that, all right? So 8:30, 10 o'clock, that's what I'd be careful of. The PCE is definitely the big mover of the day. I would agree, but you do have to be careful at 10 o'clock, all right? Actually, you know what? Let's go into, hold on. Let me get that back real quick. I just want to see, I want to take a look at next week, and let's go ahead and see what's going on next week here. So next week, this is July 30th. We have consumer confidence jolts on Tuesday. So nothing on Monday, but Tuesday we have consumer confidence and jolts. Wednesday GDP, pending home sales. Okay, we have, all right. So FOMC is Wednesday of next week. All right, FOMC is Wednesday of next week. So be aware of that. Next week, Wednesday, FOMC. That's probably the biggest of the week. We'll just leave it at that for now. So just know that. Okay? FOMC next week. Federal funds rate. Yeah. Big one. All right. Earnings calendar. Anything important today? 3M today. That's really about it. Nothing I'm that interested in. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the charts. Do I want to delete some of these lines just to clean this up? I could delete these ones up here. I'm just going to leave them for now. So let's go into the 30-minute chart on the NASDAQ. Actually, you know what? Let's drive it down into the 15, and let's take a look at what happened yesterday. So yesterday, that extreme 18,860 level that we had in our charts definitely held strong. We had that 18,860 demand down below. That morning drop and that instant pop. This is what you have to continue to be cautious of, guys. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about that sort of willingness to hold up, that we need to be careful down into these demands. and the potential for sort of that. This is going to start happening, right? It's the late day shorts, or it's the late shorts. It's the chase shorts that get squeezed out. You're going to start seeing this down at these key demands: 19,000, 18,860, the 100 SMA. You got to be careful of chasing shorts into these major levels. We talked about this on the live stream, and if you chased shorts yesterday, you got absolutely annihilated. So I would continue to be aware of that down into these major levels. These are major levels down here: 19, 18,850, and that daily 100 SMA. I do not like setting up shorts anywhere down here. I don't think there's a reason for it. The pop and fade will continue to be a trade to look for. So I would say if you want to look for short entries, guys, moving forward from this point, after seeing the downside that we've seen, if you're going to set up shorts, it has to be off a pop. It cannot be at the lows. I would stop shorting if we're near lows, okay? Because those lows are starting to get a little bit sticky, right? 19,000, 18,860, 100 SMA. These lows are starting to get a little sticky. I would be careful shorting into them, all right? That doesn't mean you can't look for those fades, and we can see yesterday was another fade. So we had our 19,300 level, and we had our 19,380 level. We had these two levels on our charts yesterday. Beautiful 19,380 fade, and also where it really set up yesterday was right here, right? Look at this. This is where the downside really started to show at our 19,300. If we go into the 5-minute chart, we can see exactly how this played out. We had a pop above 19.3, which maintained, right? We can see that 19.3 turned into support for a little bit of a push into that 380. Now, what happened here was that the 380 ultimately failed, and we failed back below on a break and retest. Look how clean that was, right? We had a previous support on the intraday at our very major 19.3 level. We failed back below it, and we turned it back into a rejection right here, right? Look at that key little break and retest, and that's where that weakness really started to step in. So really, what was key yesterday was the fail back under 19.3 after attempting to hold it, and after fit, right? You can see how important that 19.3 was. So 19,300 is going to be, again, a level to be paying attention to today, right? Take a look at this. Zoom in. Look at the 5-minute chart, right? So we still have our 19.3, so we need to be watching that, and we absolutely still have our 19,380. Okay, so as we push higher today, you need to be cautious of this type of rejection again. We could just close the week. It's very possible that we just close the week in this channel, right? Today's Friday. We had a huge move this week. What's the possibility of the market just sort of staying sideways into end of week? I think very high, right? I think it's very high. So if we just sort of chill here today, I'd be very careful on those 0 DTE trades. You could look for that extreme fade at 19.3, possibly at the 19.380. You can look for those weak points, but please be careful of the choppiness that could come in. So if you do get a fade off 19.3, be a profit taker. If you get a fade off 380, be a profit taker, right? Don't just hold and pray that it continues to break the lows, all right? So 19.3, 19.380. If we get over 19.380, guys, that is definitely a sign of strength on this market, right? If we do get above 19.380 today and we do get a push higher, that is very key, right? That would be a hold over yesterday's highs. That would be a hold back over this 19.380 level. If we are able to reclaim 19.380, that is where I think you could actually get some market action to the upside. I'm going to call you Christian. Christian, thank you, brother. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. So 19.3, 19.380, those are your two levels to the downside, or sorry, the upside to the downside, 100 SMA, 19,000, 18,860. So overall, guys, this is not a great trading day, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. You are sitting right in the center of the channel between yesterday's highs and yesterday's lows. You're on an inside trading day right now. You got to be cautious, okay? This is a Friday. This is probably where they want to kill off a lot of options after a huge trading week. I would be someone that is very, very cautious today. I would not be too aggressive. We've had plenty of opportunities this week, and I would make sure you are very protective in between this channel, right? You have some very clear levels in between this channel that probably just sort of fade. I just don't really think you're going to see much today, to be quite honest. I don't think you're going to see much. I think you're going to see another sort of slow morning, slow afternoon. Maybe you catch a little bit of a fade off supply or maybe a little bit of hold off these demands. But just be cautious in between this area, right? It's the same thing on the QQQ. So if we go to the QQQ, we can see right here, 30-minute chart, we absolutely have our demand lows around that 456 and that 100 SMA, and we absolutely have that high around 468.50. 468.50, 468.50. That could be another rejection today. If we drop to the downside, watch 456. Overall, to me, this is just about a 10-point range. A little bit more than that, but it's a pretty big range, but I just don't really feel like I need to get too active right in the center of it, right? I'll look to get active here. I'll look to get active here, right? I'll look for that fade move off 68.50. I'll look for that hold of that 456 100 SMA, right? Those are two potential trades, but I'm just not going to start doing random shit right in the middle of this, right? It's just, that's not how we trade. That's not where we make these big trades. That's not how we don't set up an Nvidia swing trade. We don't set up a big trade on Meta, on Apple, on this, on that, when the NASDAQ's just sitting right in the center. That's not when we're setting up those trades. And we've had plenty of opportunity, and I would just make sure you understand that we're just sort of sitting now and consolidating after a big move on the market. So make sure if you're going to set up trades today, please make sure they're at some kind of level on the market. 468.50 is a potential fade spot. 456 is a potential major hold spot. If we get over 468.50 today, right, if we are able to see that really strong reclaim above yesterday's highs, and we do see a hold above yesterday's highs, that could be one of those moves that causes more upside, possibly into that 474, right? So if we do get a nice hold and we do get a structured breakout above 468.50, sure, right? Then I'd be all right. This is actually interesting. We actually have a nice breakout here over yesterday's highs. I can actually find the trade here. But if we're just going to do this morning, right, little shitty grind back to the upside and then see one of these, right, this would be the only spot I'd get interested. Not going to try to trade upside into the shitty grind into supply. Just not a trade I'm interested in. Okay? S&P 500 futures, really nice rejection yesterday. I mean, perfect right at these previous lows. You can see it right here. Look at that previous low, 55.40. We popped into it. We faded it. Really clean. Still very heavy at that level, right? Yesterday, showing you how heavy that level still is and showing you how the market is still fading on upside pushes. If you guys have been trading the market for a while, you should remember some of these days, right? You remember how the market can do these sort of slow, shitty grinds all day and then that late day fade. You get those weak bulls that sort of chase the move to the upside, short covering, and then the late day fade comes in and just sort of smacks down. This is resemblant of a market that I have seen before. It's a weak market, right? So the market needs to start trying to hold above these levels. That's the only way you're going to start to see upside. You need to start seeing holds above previous levels, right? So what the market needed to do yesterday to continue higher was hold over 55.09, right? We needed to break and hold above this level to end the day, right? Because then you can start to do the stair step higher, right? You need to start seeing holds above these rejection points. Yesterday, you got above it. You did not hold above it, right? So this is still resemblant of a weak market. So you need to start seeing holds. So today, keep an eye on 55.40. Look how clear that is. Previous low into major rejection highs yesterday. That is still very weak, right? That is still very weak. The next level, or the level even before that, is our 55.09, right? And we can see how important our 55.09 is. Let's zoom out. Let's go to the hourly chart, right? Look at this. Look at how big this is. 55.09. I'm actually going to get even more time. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart, right? Take a look at this 4-hour chart on the ES, guys. 4-hour chart, big levels, right? These are big levels. Right here, 55.09, 55.09. Previous major highs, previous major lows. You're still under that level, right? So you can't get too confident here, right? You can't get too confident here yet on a bounce. I know you're starting to see some willingness to hold. I get it, right? You're starting to get that first sign of a hold. That's totally, I totally see it myself. However, you can't start longing here right under this rejection point, all right? You have very clear highs here, Very clear lows here. This could be nothing but a rejection again. So please be careful of that 5509, right? And please be careful of that 5540. Very clear. If we go back to the 15-minute chart, we can see our 5540 fail, our failures at 5509, and this could happen again today. That's also right at the daily 50 SMA. What happened yesterday that really set up the downside midday or late day? This is exactly what we talked about on the NASDAQ. Look at this. See our 5509 level? Look at what happened here. We got up into the 5540. We failed back under the 09. And look at the rejections that came in under 09 right there midday. Bam, right? Perfect. Failed back under a key level, caused rejections. Bam, downside. That's a beautiful short entry late day yesterday. So really clean, right? You may think the market's trying to push higher, which it could be. It's definitely trying to hold. But has it done reclaims of key levels? Okay, this is something we've talked about in the past in this live stream. You need to let the market start to reclaim key levels. You need to let the market establish back over 09, right? You need to let the market establish back over 40, right? You need to let the market prove to you that it's going to try to hold above these rejection points. If it is not, you are going too long and you are going to get stuck in one of these, right? You're just going to long too early. You're too excited to long off this demand low, and you're going to see it just keep on rejecting the very clear supply levels on the market. So you got to let this thing start to hold and prove to you that it's holding before you can get excited about what this market may do back to the upside, all right? So 5509, 5540, you better watch those levels. Let it prove to you that it's going to try to do something, okay? SPY ETF, it's a little bit different, the SPY ETF, right? It's been a little bit disconnected. But you are seeing, right, this is that 548. That's that 5540 level we just talked about. Look at this right here. Friday's lows from last week. Look at how that turned into the most beautiful rejection yesterday. Pop and fade. What a beautiful fail right at that previous Friday low. That's a break and retest rejection. Very nice. So 548, that's your level to watch. I would say if the SPY gets over 548, that is a very telling break and hold. That could really be where that market tries to get that move going. So 548, I'd be very cautious on anything south of that level. Very cautious. That could absolutely continue to be the rejection move. If we go to the 4-hour chart, right, we can see how important this 543 is. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this 543. Look at this 4-hour chart on the SPY. See this? 543, major previous highs, major previous lows. You're right at that level right now. So if we do hold above 543, right, we could start to live in this zone here, right? If we hold above 543, this is the zone we may start to live in, which is between 543 and our 548 supply, right? So watch 543 today. If we are able to hold above that, that could be the reason we get a little bit more upside today, right? Let's take a look at this 5-minute chart. See this 543 right here? You have the previous highs right here. You have some nice, right? And look at yesterday. This is actually very nice yesterday. Look at this, right? See how you held 543 yesterday on the intraday? Little break and hold above. That caused upside. And then look what happened after you failed back below it. Back below 543. Looks like you could move it up to like 543.50, right? If you sort of align it with those intraday spots there. See that? 543.50, 543.50. I think you could probably move it up just a little bit to that 543.50. So you can see, right? That's really the line in the sand. If you hold above it, I think you get that push to 48. If you fail below it, right, then you get that move back down to 39, right? So this sort of looks like the line in the sand to me. Yesterday's very clear rejections at 543.50, right? Rejections here, and if we go out and go back to the 4-hour chart, we can see how major that spot is on the 4-hour chart. All right there, right? Big time. All right. IWM. IWM just continues to it's just strong, man. It's strong. It's holding, but I will say there has been some pretty clear failures on this daily chart but it seems like it doesn't want to give up, right? Even after it's failing, it does not want to. It seems like it does not want to give up yet. If we go to the daily chart, we can see this is what that daily chart looked like yesterday. Look at those wicks. Wick, right? Really heavy at this 224, 226. But yeah, she wants to hold up. So right now, we're back over that 219. That's a major level. Let's put our green level there at 219. So that's a key demand level, 219. I'm going to keep this at 215. This 222 level has been very important intraday. So let's keep an eye on that 222 today. And then this 224 has been a very clear rejection spot multiple times here. So the 224 level that we're trading underneath right now has been important as well. The major high that we need to be careful of is right here, the 226.64. That's a daily supply, very large daily supply. If we go to the daily chart and we go out further, 226.67 is right here, guys. Remember this? This is back from 2022, right here. Actually, the high of this candle is 227.13. I'm actually going to move it to there. 227.13 is the high of that candle right here. So that's the major daily high back from 2022, 227.13. And so let's go back into this chart here, hourly chart, right? You need to be careful. We are still sitting right under that daily supply up here. So this could still be some heaviness up here. If you get above it, then that would really set this thing off. But for now, it's just sort of trading within these short-term levels. So I would watch 222 today. I would watch pullbacks to 219. And I would look to see if IWM can hold over 224. If IWM can hold over 224, that would probably be the move that pushes us back to the upside again. Okay? All right. 1,600 people, 700 likes. Press that like button. Press that like button. Tesla. So I actually took some Tesla longs yesterday and ended up getting out for a small profit. I just didn't trust it. So yeah, I think I did the right thing. I was pretty confident in potentially seeing this bounce today. But I just said, hey, let's just be smart here, right? I was getting a little bit aggressive. So I was able to make like $400, but I had like $5,000 in it. So I made like 10%. I wanted to hold into today, but I was a little bit cautious of one, the fails at 226, and then two, the fails on the market. I did not like how the market failed back under that 5509 on the ES, so that's when I got out. You guys can see right here. This is what I said to the group. I said, I don't like the rejection under 19380. I don't like the fail back under 5509. So I went ahead and I closed the trade, and I went full cash into tomorrow. I did like the trade if the market was going to hold up. Right? I did like the trade if the market would hold up, but it was not. So the market failed back below. Now, however, I will say Tesla still looks very strong here, and I'm still very interested. Now, here's why, guys. If we go to that daily chart, we got to go to the 4 hour. If we go to the 4 hour, this is a fantastic retest hold, right? This is Tesla 208, 205, which was the major previous hold here, which was the major previous highs right here, right? We have major previous highs here at 205, 208 that we held here, and we are holding right now, right? This is also the 250 SMA, right? So that's very key, right? That's a nice little pullback for us. Do I think this could bounce off this level? Absolutely, right? Could this be a little post-earnings, overreaction that causes a nice buying opportunity? Absolutely, right? There's absolutely that possibility here on Tesla. I would be watching it. The daily chart on Tesla would show you that over 226, there is a major gap to fill. Over 226, there is a gap to fill up to 245, right? 246 to 245 is a full gap on Tesla, okay? So I am watching to see what happens here over 246. Over 246, I'm sorry, 226, my bad, guys. 226. Over 226, there is a gap to fill, right? And you can see here on my charts, I wrote gap above over 226. The only reason I would not long right over 226 today, guys, is 230 is very clearly a supply level, okay? You need to still understand that 230 is a rejection spot. So be careful of 230. I still would be careful here at 230. I would not long. If you could try over 226 into 230, that's possible. But what I would wait for personally is just 230 to reclaim. And if we get over 230, that's when I would target that 245, 246 for that bounce back higher. So yeah, I'm interested. I am interested. I am interested. So let's see. 226. Let's see if we get above it. If we do today, I think you could get a little bit of juice, maybe into that 230. You need to break over 230 though. All right. To me, to be confident on a hold on Tesla, you got to be over 230. If you're over 230, I'd be more confident. If you fail this again today, Tesla's staying weak. Okay. If you fail 226 today, you're staying weak. Nvidia, 116.50. 116.55 is your key level here. It's very clear, guys. This is about as clear as it gets here. Look how clear this stair-step pattern on Nvidia has been, right? Previous lows at 125. That was our fade level, right? Beautiful trade. Absolutely textbook trade. No doubt about it. Previous lows at 125. We shorted that 125. This is where all my money was made this week, right? Right on this move. We caught it from here to here. I mean, our last exit yesterday was at 106.50 demand. So we literally caught it from top to bottom, which was great. Obviously, I was taking positions off this entire time. If I would have held the entire trade the entire time, it would have been about between both positions, about a $200,000 trade. So, yeah, of course, I wish I did that, of course. I probably would not be here today, but that is not the right way to trade, right? We always need to be taking positions off as we get the win because we never know what could happen, right? If I was up $30,000 here at 116.50 and I didn't take any profits and then I see Nvidia go straight up, then I would be very, very upset with myself. So you got to keep doing the right thing no matter how much you may regret it. You got to do the right thing. The right thing is to be profit-taking during the move. So 125, right? That was our very clear supply rejection that we traded. Go watch my video yesterday if you're not familiar with my trade. Now today, look at how clean this could be, right? 116.55. Look at the rejection that's stepping in here yesterday and possibly could step in again today, right? If Nvidia wants to stay on this little lower high, lower low action, right? If you want to stay on this type of action, then it's going to stay under 116.50. It's going to stay under that 50 SMA. All right. PCE index. Let's take a quick peek. And we'll jump back into Nvidia. All right, so we're getting a little popper. SPY. I mean, we're right in the center of the channel, though, guys. Here's the problem, right? Look at this. You're just not going anywhere, right? This is not meaningful. You need to get outside of this move. You got to get outside of this. Anything inside of this is 100% meaningless. You have to break levels to have meaningful moves. So right now, it's totally meaningless. Completely meaningless. If you trade because of PCE today, because you think PCE is bullish and you're going to start longing in between the middle of a channel because of it, you're going to get a rude awakening, right? It's not how you're going to trade in the short term. Short term, you need to be still focused on the levels, right? If you're going to trade short term, then you need to still be focused on levels. So PCE not causing anything here. You are absolutely still in the center of this channel. You need to get outside of it, or this is a total meaningless move. Got to get outside of it. NASDAQ still under our 19.3, still above our 19,000. Nothing. Okay, let's continue. Nvidia. So what I was talking about was that we need to watch out for the fails at 116.50, right? Very nice. I wish Nvidia was at 16,000. Could you imagine? I think we'd all be millionaires. Actually, maybe billionaires. So 116.50. That's what I'd be careful of today. Be aware of that level. This could be another fade. If it does fade, watch that demand down at 1150, and then of course that 106.50 down here. Okay. All right. AMD. Still a weak POS, man. Still a very weak POS. I'm actually going to pop this level here at 143. So here's AMD, right? Yesterday, I could not believe my eyes when I saw AMD dive bomb off of 145 yesterday. I did not expect it to do that again, right? We had that 145 level here in the pre-market live stream. We were saying, hey, watch for those 145 rejections. I did not expect this. I mean, vertical down off that level. Pretty wild. So 145, just absolute annihilation off that level yesterday. That is perfection break and retest on AMD. Previous lows, into highs, break, retest, bam. All right, huge. So today, I would still watch this 145. If you get some kind of pop into this, continue to look for that fade. Right? This could be your best short entry spot moving forward. If you get above this level, right, then that's going to be your sign that AMD can move higher over 145. But as long as AMD is living under 145, guys, this is basically living under, just think about this thing, living under a ceiling, right? This is your glass ceiling here at 145. If you can't get above 145, you're not going higher on AMD. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. You need to get over 145. You have to reclaim this. If it doesn't get above this, it's staying weak below it. So I would continue to look for fades here at 145. You're now in a channel between 145 and 137.50. You're sitting right in the middle of it. If you know what's going to happen right in the center of this channel, then you go do your thing. I do not. So where am I actually interested in trading AMD? Either here or here. All right, those are the only two spots. SMCI, thoughts on AMD long term? It's up to you, brother. I don't know. All right, I can't answer those questions for the long term. I buy it long term, but everyone's investing strategy is a little bit different, so hard to say. Right, I may say AMD is good for the long term. It goes down 10%. You sell it, I hold it. Next 5 years from now, it's up another 100%. You say, man, I sold AMD down 10%, and I didn't have that long-term mindset. So it's all up to your time horizon and all that. So hard to say. All right, 4-hour chart. You guys can see right here, SMCI. Man, that 671 level, it saved SMCI yesterday. 671 is the must hold. This is the yellow level on my charts now. This is like the golden level. This has to hold. 671. If you break below that, you're going down to that 200 SMA, right? That 200 SMA is down at that 647. You can see yesterday, it got down into that 671 and just popped right off that level. So I would say SMCI definitely going to try to find some demand down here at 671, 690 area. This is probably going to be a tough spot to break below. If we get a pop to the upside on SMCI, I would be looking to fade 760 right here. I would look for a pop and fade of 760 on SMCI. 760, 760. If we get a pop, I'd look for a fade right there at 760. So watch 760 on SMCI. Watch that 690 and 671 demand low. If we break that 671, we're going to the 200. And if we break the 200, we're going, I don't know where we're going, but we're going down. TSM, really nothing on TSM lately, guys. I'm really not going to even go over it. I would just say watch 160. The one that I'm sort of interested in today is Apple. Apple has been doing well, right? I would say Apple has been holding up better than most. Apple has pulled back to our 215.50. It's held this level. It's been in this very structured downside move, which I think at some point will create a long opportunity if the markets can recover, of course. So I'm definitely watching this Apple 215.50, and I'm watching this 220 level. If Apple can reclaim 220, I really believe that it can try to build strength again. So if we go to the 15-minute chart, the only problem is, right, Apple is not reclaiming 220. It's rejecting 220. So that is very clear right now. So this is not setting up yet. So we can see that very clearly, right? Look at 220. So 220, still a rejection point. If I see Apple get above 220 today, I think it can absolutely build some strength over that. Probably trade back higher into the 223, which is these previous lows, right? And if Apple can get above 223 in that daily 20 SMA, I think that could be breakout trade, right? That is definitely something I'm watching. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set an alert at or above 223. And I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go 222.90. And I'm just going to wait for that to hit, right? If that hits, that is an Apple, in my opinion. Number one, Apple, probably the strongest tech stock right now. It really has not pulled back very aggressively in any type of concerning manner. This is a very structured pullback that I actually quite like for longs. Pulling back into some key demands, right? 215, 211, and then that 220 right here. Pulling back into some key levels. If we get above 220 and then reclaim above 223, this could start to be that structured stair-stepping upside for a breakout trade. I will definitely be watching this. So just know that it's not ready yet, but 220, 223, nice structured pullback, right? I've seen this before. And if we get some strength on the market and some recovery on the market, I think Apple will be the first one to go higher. So definitely watching. You do have earnings next week, so be aware of that. That's the problem with all these trades. There's going to be earnings coming up, but Apple is an interesting one to sort of monitor. The other one that I'm monitoring for a strong comeback is Microsoft. Microsoft has pulled back into what I would call a make-or-break chart, a make-or-break level for Microsoft. If Microsoft breaks under this 417, 420 zone, that is going to make it negative, potentially almost not negative, but it's basically giving back everything, right? This is February, guys, right here. This is February of this year, all right? So if Microsoft breaks under 417, it is back under February levels, and it is now like at risk of giving back the entire year's move. So I think this is going to be a very defended level here for now at 216, 217. This is a major previous high, major previous low, major hold here, right? And this is where it sort of bounced off of. I think that 417, 416 level is going to be going to see some strength. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see it right here. Here's your 4-hour chart, right? Previous major highs, into lows, into highs, into highs, into lows, and you're right back at it, right? So I'm thinking Microsoft's going to try to do something here, right? And if it breaks under this, that gets really ugly for Microsoft, right? That really sort of kills the year for Microsoft. It's back under this channel. It's back between January and February's levels. That would be a bad day for Microsoft for the entire year. So I think that's a very interesting spot that Microsoft has pulled back to. And I would be watching to see if something starts to set up off this. Definitely something, right? Definitely something to watch. Problem is, again, here's the problem, guys, and I'll show you again here. I know you can't quite see it on your charts. I'm going to move this up. This is earnings right there, right? So earnings are next Tuesday. So that's sort of a concern, right? You might have to wait for earnings to be released, or, right, you could just say, hey, I might just try to swing trade some Microsoft through earnings. You could, right? That's a nice pullback. If I'm ever going to swing trade something through earnings, guys, it's going to be after a drop of, right? So Microsoft's 11% off the highs. That would be the one and only time I'd say, all right, I'll put $500 on earnings after a straight down 11% move. That could be interesting. I'm never going to trade earnings after, right? If Microsoft released earnings at all-time highs, I'm not going to look for more upside. So this is interesting, right? It's an interesting concept. I'm not recommending it fully, right? But I'm just sort of talking out loud. Microsoft is down 12% off the highs into a major 416, 417 level. I'm going to sort of monitor what it does here today. That's definitely going to be something I watch, okay? Just sort of throwing it out there. Meta. Let's get a quick peek at Meta. Meta definitely defending the 450, 460 level. We talked about how important this level is for Meta. Meta under 450 is pure death. I don't think it's going to do it, right? 450, under 450, it looks really ugly down here. There's really nothing down here. So 450 just feels like that level that has to hold, and it did. Above 460, you can see this morning. I would say Meta's going to start living in this channel, guys, right? Meta's probably going to just start living right between here. 460 to 480, probably just going to start living between this area. So I would watch 460. I would watch 480. Okay. Let's go to ARM. Yeah, ARM's an interesting one because ARM got really beat down under 150 yesterday. Like, remember we talked about look for ARM under 150. Well, look at that 150 fail yesterday. Absolutely perfect. Break and retest of 150, causing vertical downside of 10 points in like 10 minutes, right? ARM went down 10 points in 10 minutes. It was pretty wild. Right off the 150 retest rejection. Right here. Right? Rejections of 150, bam. But what's even more impressive is how many buyers stepped up above that 150 level again, right? Look how major that wick is there on the 4-hour chart. Huge buying coming in at 150. So this is very interesting, right? Could you long arm off 150 here and just sort of let this sit? Is this maybe something you buy some shares on, right? You could do a little share. You could do a little share swing trade here to be, a little bit more cautious. Right? You could buy, let's say, I don't know. Let's say you have an account. Let's say you got a decent sized account. Let's say you buy 100 shares, right? What is that? 15 grand in there. Buy 100 shares. Risk 4 points, so risk $400. And if ARM can just sort of go back up to 180 with 100 shares, that's $3,000, right? It's a $3,000 trade. So, yeah, I mean, could do something like that. I like the idea of trying to long arm off 150. I think it was very strongly defended yesterday. I think it has proved to you how much strength is at that level. You also have the daily 50 there. You got these major lows. So this is an interesting trade. You do have earnings next week, though. Again, this is the problem, right? You have earnings, right? So it's starting to get a little bit difficult, right? It's starting to get a little bit difficult with those earnings reports. You never know what's going to happen on the earnings reports, so you just can't get that confident. That's why I'm saying maybe you just do a little bit of a short-term swing with some shares and just sort of, don't get too aggressive, because that earnings is just possibly going to sort of mess it up. But 160, 150 is your first supply. Then the next one's 172. So be careful of those levels, all right? 160, 150, 172. Be careful of those levels, all right? Hims, baby. Hims, I'm still in it. I think this chart looks so good. I'm not going to lie, right? This chart just looks great. I am more than happy to continue to hold my shares on Hims. Earnings are coming up on August 6th, I believe, or August 5th. So that's going to be big. But Hims has been awesome, man. I think it's because the healthcare sector has been pretty strong, right? The healthcare sector has not been dropping with the market. It's been pretty rock solid. And I think that's helping out Hims to stay higher. So, yeah, I'm liking this, man. I'm liking this. This looks great. But obviously, we need to get over the 25.40. We need to get that breakout. But I'm looking forward to what happens on earnings. I'm definitely going to hold my shares through earnings. I'm excited to see what happens. That chart is erect. Sure is. What else? What did I miss? We didn't go over Netflix. We can go over Netflix real quick. I don't think I really seen much. No, Netflix is a disaster. I'm not interested in Netflix. Broadcom. Where is Broadcom pulled back to here? Okay. Broadcom. Definitely like the 140 spot. I will say that. I like this 140 spot. You have filled this gap, which is nice. You have filled the gap. Take a quick peek at this on the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, Broadcom could start to look like right? Broadcom could start to get a little interesting on that pullback long if the market can start to recover a little bit, right? This is going to start to get interesting, guys. You want to make sure you have an idea, right? You want to make sure you have the idea of what these pullback longs could be, but I would not take action on them until there's actually, right, a move on the market that solidifies upside. So, but you'd still want to be aware, right? You don't want to just totally ignore the opportunities that could arise here, right? So I could definitely see this area on Broadcom becoming a new low, right, and creating another opportunity. Absolutely, right? There's no doubt about it. That's a very big level, very, very big zone between 140, 144. And if you can start to find, sort of maintain on the market, this could be very interesting. So I would watch it. I don't know if it's ready for it, but yes, I would say that 100 SMA, this 140 area, definitely something to watch. GLW, Larry, appreciate the donation, brother. GLW, looks like it's on a major gap up, man. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't trust anything here. I probably wouldn't trade this until it's back to $40. $40.50. Maybe it holds that daily 20 for you, but there really just isn't any levels here. And I really just don't like this action. So maybe a daily 20 SMA hold there, Larry. around this 42.75. But if you break that, right, if you break under that daily 20 and that 42.75, you're probably trading back down to this 40.5. Okay? But I just don't really love this action, I'll be honest. MU, yeah, MU is just a shit show, right? It's just a shit show, guys. In between two channels, 114, 105.70. You're not trading it in between those levels. You got to wait for something to hit. Meta, we did. Apple, we did. Apple rejecting that 220. Nvidia still at that 116.50. Where's Tesla? Tesla's at that, okay, still under that 226. Let's go to CrowdStrike real quick. Okay, CrowdStrike peeking its head back over 260. So that's sort of finding some support there, back over 260. You can see the rejections are still very possible at the 275. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, CrowdStrike back over 260. So that's good for CrowdStrike. But you're still under that 275. So be careful up there at 275 on CrowdStrike. Palantir. Where is it? Is it done to reach? Yeah, it's still above this. This is where it really needs to hold above right here, Palantir. That 2663, 2660 area. It's got to hold that, right? Previous high, previous low. I would want to see it maintain that level. I think that's about it. Netflix, nothing. All right. All right. Amazon, I really didn't see anything on Amazon I liked. No, it's a disaster. Google, okay, Google, something I will go over. Google had earnings and has been very weak since. So I would watch Google under this 171.50. Look how beautiful. Look at this, guys. 175 on Google, right? That major previous low on Google. Look at how nasty that rejection was yesterday. Look at this. Bam. 175, bam. Huge rejection, 175. Google looks very weak. Very weak. And so look at this today. 171.50, failure. Look at these failures coming in. So, yeah, watch the fails on 171.50. Watch the fails on 175. I look for pops and fades on Google all day. It looks very weak here. So, 171.50, 175. The only thing you got to be careful of, again, is the 100 SMA and 164 down below. But this thing looks sort of dead. If it breaks that 100 SMA, it's coming down right here into that 160, 164. And you do have an earnings gap. You do have an earnings gap. So it might be trying to come down to that 164. So keep an eye on this, back under 171.50. Okay, hold on. Where's Qualcomm? Okay, Qualcomm's still on the verge of a big breakdown as well. So Qualcomm needs to hold 176. I'd watch that. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and check out the futures again real quick. Let's get a quick peek at what they're doing, and then let's get the hell out of here. So NASDAQ very clearly still under this 19.3 supply. There's absolutely no reason to look for upside today. SPY still very clearly rejecting 543.50. That is a must hold above for upside. ES very clearly still under our 55.09. There is no reason to long into that level today. There's no reason to short into this level, right? There's no reason to trade at open today. None. There's literally no edge here. If you long, you're getting smacked. If you short, you're getting smacked, right? There's nothing here. Wait for a level to hit before you enter trades today. And finally, yeah, we did them all. All right. Coinbase. Yeah, I'll go Coinbase real quick. Coinbase just holding our demand again. Holy shit. Coinbase has got the rainbow here, guys. 50, 20, 100 SMA, all sitting together on Coinbase. 235, 234, right? Look at that. All daily SMAs besides the 200 just stacked up at the exact 234 level. So that thing's definitely trying to hold that level, right? 234, 234, 234, 234. It's trying to hold that level again. So you can possibly look for longs off 234. But I'll tell you, if Coinbase breaks below all those SMAs, this thing's dying. Okay? So 234, big watch. All right, guys, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Yeah. Hope to see you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything stupid. Make sure you show up on Monday. Put in the work. I will see you guys then. Peace and love. Adios.